When you're first putting things together, realize what you're actually doing in the narrative and take your time. You can always cut it shorter, you can always cut it another way. But be very mindful of the elements that you're dealing with, the opening themes, introducing the characters, introducing the place. All of these things that actually come from theater and from literature are really important. That's what we do when we're cutting. We're writing the film, but this time we're writing it in images and sound and music. So you have to really think like a writer when you start putting films together. This was before CGI. This was all, we had different forms of E.T. We had an E.T., a little man who was dressed in a suit. We had just the torso with the eyes and this, literally just to the shoulders, to the head with the eyeballs. And there were, I think, 12 guys operating pneumatic controls. And when we shot a roll, we would shoot a roll of film for the coordination. You don't think about it, but a blink is, a blink or both eyes, and it's usually, we blink, believe it or not, just before we turn. We turn our heads, we'll blink like that. It's just an automatic reflex. So they were constantly trying to do human-like, tiny little things like the puffing of the cheeks and the eyeballs, bulging like this and opening. So we'd shoot 10 minutes of film, and I'll be damned if we didn't cut the films around what worked with E.T. If the puppet worked, that's what we're going to use and do everything else around it. It was scripted to end when E.T. is, the ramp for the spaceship is closing, and E.T. was going to be ultimately obscured by that, and we were going to end on a close-up of Elliott. I'll be right there, that whole scene. It was just going to end on him with the wind blowing and everything. But it wasn't enough, and he thought that we really needed to do something that would make the film transcendent at the end. And we tried a number of things, and finally he said, I think we have to have the spaceship go. We have to have it go out. And there has to be a moment when Elliott waves goodbye, and we see him, that he's going to be okay, that everything's going to be fine. And at the last minute, he thought of the flourish of the rainbow. There was going to be a rainbow at the end of the movie, but not with a spaceship. So this is how things kind of came together on a film that has been wildly successful. But Steven gave himself the freedom to try a lot of stuff until we finally landed on the right ending.